This tutorial will show you how to create and use an aggregate sound device on Apple computers, using Existential Audio's Blackhole, an open-source virtual audio driver. An aggregate device lets you use audio inputs and outputs from different devices at the same time when using Groovesetter. Using an aggregate device with virtual components will allow you to route audio directly into, or out from your digital audio workstation of choice. In this tutorial, we will create an aggregate device by combining an external audio interface with a virtual audio device, Blackhole. To begin, open the Audio MIDI setup, which lists all of your available audio devices. Click the Add button on the bottom left corner to create an aggregate device. Your new aggregate device will appear on the left side of the window. Click on the checkbox next to each device you would like to include. Keep in mind that the order in which the boxes are checked determines the order of the inputs and outputs in Groovesetter. In this example, I am choosing my external audio interface, which has dual input and output channels. Next, I am adding the virtual device Blackhole, which has an additional 16 virtual input and output channels. This gives me a total of 18 available input and output channels for my new aggregate device. Since my selected devices are not synchronized using hardware, I will need to enable drift correction, also known as resampling, to compensate for drift in the data between devices. I'll also rename the aggregate device so it is easily identified in audio applications. Next, I will open the system preferences of my Apple computer. In the sound settings, I will select the new aggregate device as the default output device. I'll do the same for my default input device. My new aggregate device is now ready to use in Groovesetter sessions. Next, I will create a new Groovesetter session. In the Session Settings window, I will enter the number of channels I want to use for my interface input and output device. I have 18 available channels from the aggregate device I just created. When I click Got It, my session will load, and the Groove Link routing matrix will display the available inputs and outputs as selected on the previous screen. I will first color code the channels, so that it is easy to differentiate between the physical audio interface channels and the virtual channels of the aggregate device. Along the top of my incoming signals, my first two channels represent my audio interface physical inputs. The following 16 channels are the virtual channels I have available through the virtual Blackhole device. On the left side of the matrix, I have the sound recipient channels. The first two channels represent my physical interface outputs, and the rest represent the 16 available channels of my virtual device. Anything routed to the first channel sound recipient will play in the left speaker, and anything routed to the second channel sound recipient will play in the right speaker of my headphones. Take note to what happens when I route the signal to the third output channel of my virtual device. The signal goes from my interface through output number 3, which according to how I set up my virtual aggregate device, is the first output channel of my virtual sound device. At the same moment, this signal coming out of the virtual output channel is looped back as an incoming virtual signal on the corresponding virtual input channel. This audio loopback behavior is specific to virtual loopback audio devices. The Groove Link audio routing matrix allows you to easily visualize and control the flow of each audio signal when using virtual loopback audio devices. When you begin experimenting with your own setup, you will quickly see the many creative ways the signal can be rerouted and looped around. Since you can route audio to any destination from any input, this is a great way to record multi-channel uncompressed audio from remote participants connected to your session. You are able to route the individual signals on separate tracks of your DAW of choice, simply by choosing the virtual aggregate device as the input and output device of your DAW. This also allows you to route multi-channel output from your DAW to any sound recipient connecting to your session, which could be other groovers or audio applications.